Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. And to each and every one of my Patreon patrons, even though I can't put your names on the screen because of my nerve compression at the moment, you are all beautiful, awesome, and wonderful people. Thumbs up and thank you all. Not much to talk about because not much has happened in my life. Yesterday I stayed in yesterday I stayed in in the Department of Redundancy department. I stayed in because my knee has been hurting. So I haven't gone out and done much. After I did my one walk to Walmart yesterday, I stayed in here. I got up and I did things, but largely I sat to not stress out my knee, which is always difficult because, you need to stay off of your knee. But also, you got to use it or lose it, and you got to do physical therapy, so you got to get on your knee. So for your knee, you have to both stay off it and stay on it at the same time. So I walked to Walmart yesterday, came back and did largely nothing. I've walked to Walmart already this morning. I'm going to walk over to my storage unit later because my knee is feeling pretty good today. It's still inside going, I'm ready to hurt if you're not careful. And there's kind of a loosey-goosey feeling. But I made it to Walmart and back, and so things are good. It is, like I said, not feeling wonderful, but not feeling terrible either. Joy for getting older. I do have some things written down here. One of them is, I mentioned yesterday how my tablet just suddenly stopped recording. I was sitting here talking and it was recording, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And I hadn't touched the screen, so I didn't know what was happening. I had my tablet sitting over on this table here yesterday, and I was in the middle of the room, roughly where I'm recording right now. There's a lot of space between me and the table, and then I had the tablet on the table about a foot inward so it wouldn't fall. I set the tablet up. I had it playing a video. It was playing the video. I turned around and walked away, and then 2 seconds later the video suddenly went quiet, and when I turned around, the tablet was on the home screen. So I had to recall up the browser and then go back to the tab with the video and then hit play. And so I set it down and it started playing, and I sat there and watched it for a moment and it was playing. Turned around to come over here to start doing things, and about 2 seconds later, silence. Turned around, home screen. I don't know what is happening during these times. I don't have any weird connections in my Bluetooth stuff. There's only the connections to devices that I have said pair to. So no one's got anything that, and I don't have a, what are those, dongle that's just a random dongle for somebody to have their mouse use my tablet. So I don't know why it does this stuff. And as I've mentioned before, how it drives me crazy. How I'll be using my tablet here on a web page, and suddenly, well, this one is irritating. Well, my finger will be dangling about this far above the screen, and it records that as a tap. Where I'm not even, like I said, about this far away from it, and suddenly it goes to that tab, or it takes me on a wild misadventure of reading the tab when I'm not even touching the screen, which makes it all the more frustrating when I sit there with my stylus and go on to the button on a web page and tap it, and then the little screen will light up. It's got the register. It registered the click, but it doesn't do anything. I have to click it again, and it does the same thing, and maybe this time it works. Maybe it takes a third click, and then it works. Oh, that drives me nuts. especially the joyous times when starting up the tablet, you know, it does all of these startup screens, powered by this, powered by that, Samsung, and then it comes up with a lock screen so that you can swipe, enter your PIN, and it'll continue the booting up procedure. And at least half the time, I will swipe across the screen and it doesn't bring me the keypad. So I swipe the pad again and it does the same thing, just the picture, and then it turns off because I wasn't touching it, so it's going to save the screen. But of course I'm sitting there going, come on, will you register please? And then shuts off because nope, no, there, you weren't trying. Ugh. And just the other day, when it started up, there was the lock screen, so I swept across. And it swept the lock screen off the screen. It just went swipe, and then it was black. Luckily, I turned it off and then turned it back on, and it brought the regular screen back up, but I had never swiped the screen off before. Joy. And it's irritating enough when it's my stuff. And the other thing, the last one before I go off on another tangent on that, is I will tap middle of the screen on a tab, and about 4 inches over in this direction on the tablet is where it'll take the register. And again, I'm likely off on a wild misadventure because it read a 4-inch gap in tablet hitting. Well, I was going to go off on a tangent and a rant, but it's just old man yells at cloud because why isn't this stuff working? Why do I have to press it 4 or 5 times to make a prompt work? I don't understand why, because it shouldn't, because 20 frickin' years ago we didn't have this sort of stuff. And I don't mean not touchscreens, I mean they read prompts. Yay. Old man yells at cloud. Old man yells at cloud, I said, and then crossed my arms on my chest. And at 7 minutes and change, the tablet just suddenly stopped recording. Screen went kind of gray, and then went bidum, and it was done. Stopped recording. Why? I don't know. For the same reason that it stopped playing the web page when I would turn around is the reason that it just suddenly stopped recording right here. I have no ideas what is going on. What do I do? That's great. So yeah, whatever thought I had is now completely blown out of my mind by the sheer irritation and frustration of the tablet just suddenly deciding, I guess you're done recording now, and shutting off on its own. Not the tablet just stopping recording. And I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, though, that's it. Except for, I will talk about this because it's not it real quick. I do watch Pyrocynical, and one of the things he was doing was one of his live streams, and he was clipped, shorted down for the game, I think it's Fallen Aces, and it's advertised as like an immersive sim, and it's like they don't make immersive sims anymore. Immersive sims don't sell. Which is true. If you're trying to make all the money in the world instead of just some of the money, immersive sims won't bring you all the money in the world. So the companies don't make them. They're not profitable enough. But New Blood and Devolver Digital and a couple others of the smaller companies, if they weren't eaten by Embracer and before it imploded, they do good stuff. And this Fallen Aces, I believe it is, the title, is awesome. true, not possibly not true immersive sim, but Pyrocynical was like, oh, I don't believe this is it does this, and then kept finding new ways to do missions and ways to sneak in and do stuff. And I was just absolutely in love with the art style and the animation. It's not smooth animation, but it's done choppy on purpose. It is the simulated choppy like movie stuff. So when you're smacking a bad guy, they have a lot of frames of animation, but there's no tweening, and it's stiff falling. When I say tweening, streaking, where smearing, good God almighty, there's no smear animations, and so it's just here, and then down on the ground. And it looks beautiful because of that. I love this art style and the animation. It has wonderful noir situations while being... look up the demo, or if they have one, but look up information on it. It looks absolutely awesome. Thumbs up for that. Past that, not much to say. Aside from here at the very end, before I sign off on that, is if you've watched Pyrocynical, have you ever heard of him? He got in a big foo-for-rah where he owned the situation. I don't know if it was immediately, but he ended up just owning it. Now he doesn't, he talks about it, but he accidentally flipped to a page or some such where he had his inflation fetish exposed to his audience and thus the world. And for the longest time he was not doing well with it, and then he owned it, where he's got an inflation fetish and such like that. And so he talks about it. And the only reason, again, I'm bringing that up again, I do that where I'm referring to something that I've said before when I haven't even said anything about it. But just by bringing that up is, once again, you can never tell what's going to make somebody's blood start pumping, and nobody chooses the things that make their blood start pumping. Like, he's got his inflation fetish. He did not choose that. That's wiring in his brain. That's why I mention periodically, I do have a vor fetish. I don't know why, but my blood gets a pumping at the thought of young women being swallowed whole and digested alive by snakes. I find that weird and freaky, but it lights up my circuits and gets my blood pumping. So it was a lot for Pyrocynical to have to own it, but he did. And then his audience and the rest of the internet has come back and accepted him. He's always going to get dogged for it, but at least he owns it, and that's good. So thumbs up for that. Anyway, though, I'm going to call this short because I don't know if this is going to suddenly stop recording again, because my life sucks in this fashion. If you are a Patreon patron, thumbs up, thank you. I've started thanking people at the beginning of the videos. Yay! If you have left me comments, thumbs up and thank you. I read every one of them, even if I can't answer them. But I do read them and appreciate them, each and every one of them. Some thumbs up, thank you much. It is beautiful. You are awesome. Well, I'm going to do what I gotta do, make my walk, try and get some phone calls done, walk to the hospital, find out what my next appointment time is, and then get all this uploaded. Hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done, and if not, well, don't beat yourself up. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. I'm at 6:59, so I don't know, this thing's probably going to stop recording on its own at any moment, so you take care, and I'll talk to you later.